Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Ace Attorney Apollo Justice or Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. One of those two was probably correct. In the previous video we kicked off our Let's Play on our first trial as the eponymous Apollo Justice. We're doing our first trial. We are trying to defend some wackadoodle named Phoenix Wright, never heard of him before. We're trying to figure out, what does it mean, dude? What does it mean? We ought to believe this witness's testimony as is. Then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Ah. Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Don't look at my chest, where I have a locket. Say. Yeah. I just noticed this, but that's a really sweet hat. Where'd you get that hat? Does it come with a button? Did you add that? What about the lettering? Is the lettering part of the hat, or was that added third party? Because I think I could go with one of those. I think I'd really fit my beard. You have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh? You mean this? Oh yeah, it's a rocket. Used to go to space. With a photograph inside. Photo of my daughter. No, Phoenix Wright doesn't fuck. I don't believe it. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. I don't buy it. So Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Well now, if the results of the poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't really be necessary, Your Honor. It's clear the defendant lost badly. Did he though? I mean, it looks like he lost. Based on what little I know about poker, it seems like his ass got blasted. Unless there's some obscure rule that triple sevens beats triple kings. Miss Orly. Or, you know, the cards could be rearranged after the fact that the thing happened. I don't know, but we don't have any proof of that. He will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. Serious competition. Game began with 3,500 point and chip for each man. House chip come in two size, small, large. One who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. Moment loss is decided, defendant grab bottle from table and you know the rest. Nasfadanya. Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. But failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow, Your Honor. Don't know why I'm laughing. How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of rage, Your Honor, and now I regret what I done. A common tale, but true. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Nah, if I'm in the picture, that's what most defendants sound like. They usually will adopt a southern accent for some reason. Mr. Wright said he hadn't lost in 7 years. This testimony must be wrong. I mean, I feel like that's like inverse gambler's fallacy. It's like I keep losing or keep winning. That means I can never lose. I feel like it should be like, yeah, of course he lost. It's been 7 years. He was due. Get pressed. I said get pressed. Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules. Each man began with 3,500 points, and the total would be... How many... So what would the total be, Bailiff? Just wondering, for a friend. Exactly 6... No! Haha! 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus. Well, it's not calculus, and it's not long division. You are correct. Christoph, head empty, knowing damn well he did not know how to add those two numbers up. You don't have to take math to be a lawyer. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Da! Of course. Something's fishy with those chips. Should I press harder? Well, can we see chips on the ground? Looking like a fool with the chips on the ground? So there's 5 on the left side in this picture. And that seems to line up here. And I think we have no evidence that would imply that there's extra chips. Because we can't see any on the ground. I don't see any anywhere else. Unless you're... I mean, I didn't really look at his side. I mean, it looks kind of the same at a glance. Oh, wait. What about this picture? Are there any chips in this one? No. Yeah, get pressed harder. They're not gonna punish me for this, right? Could you explain a bit about these chips? When do the fish come into play? I've been waiting for the fish. Explained? What is there to be explained? Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips and not a chip off the old block or a motorcycle cop. Not a... Thanks. But my bars, I've been practicing them for years. Long have we waited. Now that I've pressed her, I'd better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or ruples even? Hope they're not worth ruples. Yet, as I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand, but like... Russia's capitalist now, what are you talking about? Plus, it was kind of always a little cat. That's a conversation for another time. We're not getting into it. We're not touching it. We're not, nope. 2 type of chip. 100-point chip, 1,000-point chip. Is not money, duh. Okay, so we could count the chips then. I mean, presumably if these are 100 points and these are 1,000 points, then there would be way more than 7,000 chips in play. Yep. Yeah, it would be like 10,500. Justice. Sir? Don't you find her comment interesting? I mean, I do. In more ways than one, sir. But like, do we have any evidence that says the 7,000 chips? I mean, not really. Like, I don't feel like anything we could present there would... I mean, maybe the chip photo? I'd have it added to her testimony myself. Was it offense when the witness to add this to her testimony? Yeah. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. Wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well. Witness, if you would be so kind. Da, Your Honor. One kind of chip worth 100 point, other kind worth 1,000 point. Two kind of no. I mean, no. I just want to look again. Because even if we were to assume that the small ones are 1,000 points, which would make no sense, it would not add up to 7,000. Wait, would it? Maybe it would actually. 6. It would. That would add up to 7,000. No, why would? I feel like the big ones would be worth more, but it could be. You're telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing? Duh. Must have been most unlucky day for him. Am glad I did not take other picture. Would break camera, certainly. Chips, they went always to victim side of table. You're telling us it was a one-sided game? Ah, one side. And for last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. Last hand. It was largest points of any hand. Defendant's hand, it was all excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from the behind. Here's both the defendant and the victim's hands are in this picture. That is truly an excellent hand. However, so was the victim's. What with highest number wins, so defendant, he lose. The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I believe that explains what occurred next. Once cards laid down on the table, it happened. The moment the loss was decided, defendant grabbed bottle from table and what happened next? Even to think of it now, I shake and tremble, did not believe such a thing would happen. What such thing? Please, you must believe I had no idea. How could such thing occur? What such thing? Niet. The defendant had been hitting the victim. Ah, saw it all happen right before me. Saw a bottle coming down on victim's head. Decisive, isn't it, Your Honor? My witness saw the very moment of the crime. Remember, your first goal is to gather information. Yes, sir. Look out, contradiction. Here comes justice. Anyways, we can try and press this again. Mr. Gavin said this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why. Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think what you want to say before you're raising your hand. We are not in kindergarten. Sorry, I'm fine. I'd better think of something to ask. And quick! The two type of chip. The small ones are 100 and big ones are 1,000? Right? Of course? Yeah. Don't waste our time. Is that all? Yeah. Great. Mr. Gavin made me stop her now. I'm the one who looks dumb. Justice? Please try not to embarrass me like that. Who, me? There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on. Try. We're not in kindergarten, after all. Calculation? I mean, she didn't confirm or deny if bigger 100... Because, I mean, my assumption would be that the bigger 1,000 and the smaller 100. But if it's the opposite, then that does check out. Because it's like, her math, it could be correct. The thing is not necessarily right. Because we haven't definitively heard if smaller 100... Because, one second. Because what did he say? Because we could kind of... No, go back. Okay, so let's just repress this again. 100 points, others worth 1,000 points. Only 2 kinds. Because whatever he says, we can assume is the truth because she didn't deny it. Okay, so he says... Small ones are 100, big ones are 1,000, right? Small ones are 100, big ones are 1,000. So, if that's the case, then the math doesn't add up. Now, it could be that they're setting us up for, like, you're supposed to think that, and then the inversion is that actually the small ones are the big ones, and the big ones are the small ones? Because then it does add up to 7,000, right? Like, I'm not fucking stupid. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, that would only have to 7... Yeah, no, it's 7,000, not 7,500. But do I present on this, or do I present on 7,500? I would think I would present on the one where she says 7,500. Not this one. You're sure it was the victim who won? Wait, no, that's not what what? Absolutely sure? That's not where I was going with this. Seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at this picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not... Oh, okay, so what they're saying is that if the small ones are 1,000, then he would actually have way more points than the other guy. Okay. But didn't they say he went all in? So it wouldn't even matter who had more? But okay, I get where they're going with this. Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which are worth 1,000 points? Why, the big ones, of course. Duh. Oh, I thought so too, but then the totals don't add up. The totals? Let's review what the witness told us. Each man sought over 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yeah, my calculations are correct. Let's see, 3 plus 1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. Every chip. So many chips. The best kinds of chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it? More than one. Do it yourself. You're in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. But why? How could this be? Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right. There's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Well, I mean, both were right? Because the chip count wasn't wrong, it can still be correct, and the starting points can still be correct. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. I just kind of like, I got a little... It took me a second to understand the question, I guess, that was being asked. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around. What? I want to know. You want to know what I think? No. Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. The small chips were 1,000 points, not the big ones. Madness. Other madness. Everyone knows big is small and small is big. Show me that photograph of the chips again. 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points if you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself, but I did. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of the chips may differ, but that changes nothing.
Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips still, but did he? Le gasp. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points, and the defendant had 4,100 points. Well now, seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible, preposterous, ludicrous, insanity.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning.
Yarg!
Now, Miss Orly, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you?
Yeah.
Order! Order! Here's our defendant has lost his motive. And Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. But didn't they say he went all in? Like, it doesn't matter how many points he had if he went all in and lost. Yeah. We must now ask ourselves whether we can excuse me? What is it, Miss Orly? I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you'll see, See what, Miss Orly? What do we see? In last hand, there was cheat. A cheat? You don't mean a trick? Wait, do you mean a scam? They're the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in last hand. This is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First, now we have lying, now cheating. This case certainly has taken a turn. Really interesting. Witness! You will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. The final hand. The last hand, both men had a Full House, my favorite American show. I love the way that Bob Saget. I've never watched Full House. This is stolen valor. I don't know. There's a house. There's like kids in it. I don't know. It's not my tea. Cup of tea, man. Not my cup of borscht. Know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game become argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. Oh, do they actually have like 2 of the same? Because I mean, there's 2 decks. I mean, the aces are different. It's not like, you know, there's like 2 aces of hearts or something. Yeah, I don't know. He took bottle in his hand for Mr. Smith. Miss Orly, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? Because I made it up, duh. I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. Full House is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience. And alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin? What's a Full House? Lawyers these days. You don't know your poker. I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. But like, what if somebody in the audience doesn't know what a full house is, and then they're gonna be lost, so we have to explain it to them. It's actually really good design. Just in case they don't know. What is this? Some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice. You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number make a pair, 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. Wow, they both have full houses. We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, that leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard a professional con man losing when they cheat? Get pressed? I said get pressed? Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? Is quite hard, duh. Is making a pair and 3 of kind same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult to be sure. You can take my word as the poker head of the courtroom number 3. Very difficult, but is not impossible. Okay, full house hard, line of questioning, a waste of time. 4 of each card in deck. 4 of each card, you say? There's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons. Huh? You don't say? Nope. Made it up. You have been literate. That's how we do it back in Mother Russia. Did you know the cards are numbered 1 through 13? But they're not. Add all the cards in the deck, you get 364. A year. You don't say. Isn't that 1 day short?
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year.
Nobody says this.
Thus, you have perfect representation of the year. All in a deck of cards.
Huh, you don't say. We're gonna be in this courtroom for a year if this keeps going on like this. You look at both men's hands. Cheat? It obvious. How is it clear? Well, defendant, he played a 5th ace. No, he didn't. A 5th ace. I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces, but he doesn't. Mr. Wright's 2.
Obviously cheating was afoot, or perhaps I should say, a hand!
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. I'm going to keep the joke, but we will add it to the testimony. Very well, the witness will add this detail to her testimony. Okay. But he doesn't. He doesn't have 2. He has 3 king. Okay, I'll get presented on. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken, but my name is Olga. Olga Orly. Early Olga. Oh, I'm always be ogling early. This piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice. Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Get it? Point out your point. You can also press it. Please point out the contradiction in this photo. The cards. The cards. I'm clicking. I'm clicking, nothing's happening. I am clicking and nothing is happening. Oh, okay, we have to hold it here and then hit present up here. Alright. This earlier in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. You see, in Russia, 2 is 3, 3 is 2. Triple, double, double, triple, you wouldn't understand.
Maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. Haha! As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating, alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. You must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Never give up. Do a barrel roll. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards? The cards? Mr. Payne.
Yes?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards? Or the defendant's cards? The cards don't prove cheating was going on. Nothing well. Which of these hands is more suspicious? Well, I guess the victim's hands. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well. Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. Here's the cards, you filthy animals. Well, time's a wasting. Get to it, Justice. Is it gonna be like there's like 4 blue cards and a red card or something? When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Hello, I am now a box in your head. Try using the dials on the evidence viewer. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. Oh my god, it's blue, dude. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color.
Yeah.
That's impossible. I put that card in Wright's hand. I mean, the unnamed criminal put card in Wright's hand. Good one, Olga. You saved it. What was that, Miss Early? No, yes. I merely said I have eek. Your Honor? Mr. Gavin? Yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? I believe the way they did it back in the Old West was they pulled out a gun and said, "Ha-ha! I have a gun, therefore I win this hand of poker." And that's how they did it. That's what I would do if I had a gun. Oh man, the things I'd do if Mr. Judge had a gun. All the enemies I'd purge from existence. I mean, I don't know how to cheat in poker. I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Ah! Wait, so you mean this witness, Miss Orly? She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Nyarg! Order! Order! Focus, Justice. I'm taking advantage of her. I mean, of her mistake. Hey, I was gonna make the joke, but they beat me to it. They wrote the dialogue in a humorous manner that could be exploited for comedy, and then took advantage of it, you know? Just like he's gonna take advantage of her. You gotta respect that. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. It's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orly conspired to cheat not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Shoddy Smith. Shady makes more sense, but I feel like it would be pronounced Shoddy if it was a real name. Oh man, this is kind of... Oh, there's some boombox music right there. Fucking Christoph, he found the right button. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's hard. It's not hard, I mean, so imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? You don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orly, are you? It's crazy how often that happens in my courtroom. I'm always bringing in witnesses and then they're like, actually, this is the person who did it. It's crazy, man. I feel like maybe we should do a better job at who we pick to be the accused in our judicial system, but I guess that's also kind of the point. Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. Wait, I mean, the defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orly, of murder. Then she dies on the spot, and then the next trial is Apollo being tried for murdering her by the sheer power of his bombastic energy. Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orly? It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice? Your Honor, it seems you've presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
I did it! I held out! I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. He fucking probably did that shit. Guilty. Next case. Prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. This is the tutorial case. We don't have an investigatory period in the tutorial case. That'll be for the next chapter, Your Honor. You know how this goes. You've done this like 14 times. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous.
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know Mr. Wright is a talent. Well, ridiculous. Well, they call him Big Papa. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was said before.
The 2 decks at the club had different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? Shit's cool. If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed.
You use different colors, yet they still got mixed up.
We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. Were they blue with 1 red? They were all red with 1 blue, right? Yeah, they were all red with 1 blue. So we would have held onto a blue card? Oh wait, did he say we used red for the last one? For some reason I had the impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. Sure someone said something about blue cards. Yeah, it's your buddy.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating.
Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. Could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was
Oh? Might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks. When do you think the cards were swapped? When do I think the cards were swapped? I mean, I would assume before as well, but I'm guessing that's not the answer. When the crime took place. This says when the crime took place. So during the murder. But what would be the reason for swapping it during the murder? When was the card swapped into the deck? I mean, I don't think we'll have any reason to assume during or after, but I'm like... Before, it just doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't pass the vibe check. 2 a.m. April 17th. Which is the one that's actually swapped? It's one of the kings? One of the kings would have been an ace. With a blue back. The king of diamonds would have been swapped. So that would mean they swapped a winning hand for another winning hand. That doesn't make any sense. But I can't think of, like, I don't feel like we have any evidence for why it would be after the murder. But I feel like it can't be during the murder. That doesn't make any sense. So it's the one that I'm gonna pick. Well, weren't they swapped during the murder? During the murder? Tell me, exactly when is that? The very moment of the act, I guess? Wouldn't that be the moment the cards were shown? That's the moment when the cheater was revealed. Or maybe the very moment the bottle came down on Mr. Smith's head. Can I have a moment? That moment could cost you this case. Sorry, let me rethink this. When was the card swap? I don't know. Happened after the murder?
What's that? Ridiculous.
What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly. But tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Even when the backs of the cards are a different color? You pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah! Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown. After the murder. But like, why?
This is going past silly and straight on to crazy.
Yes, again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? But like, it's not even cheating. You're cheating for like one winning hand for another.
Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orly. Who was it that swapped the red card for the blue? Well, we have no reason to assume there's anyone else there. I mean, Olga, the way she phrased it made it seem like she fed him the correct card and then it got swapped, right? So that would mean that Phoenix is the one who swapped it after the crime for some reason. Because it made it seem like Olga gave him the correct card so that he would get the winning hand, so he'd have the triple aces and the double kings for the full house. So it would then be Phoenix who swapped it afterwards, which made the crime photo incorrect to what she remembered. Because why would Olga swap it and then lie about what it was? You know? So we're gonna say Phoenix. The one who swapped the cards was Mr. Wright. It was you, wasn't it? And why would I do such a thing? Well, because the other option doesn't make any sense? Maybe you're trying to hide the fact that you cheated? That would make sense, but the swap card was in the victim's hand. Sorry. I'm a nice guy, but I'm not that nice. Alright, he would like a motive for helping his... But, like, he's not... I'm hung up on this fact that, like, he won regardless. Alright. Must have been Olga Orly who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up evidence of the cheating, but, like, she wasn't. I don't get it. And we're supposed to assume there's, like, a mysterious other person, I guess? The problem with that explanation? I agree. It doesn't make any sense. That's why I didn't pick it. Swap card is from the wrong deck. The blue card was stuck in a red hand. Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors. Remember that you're talking about Olga Orly. She was the dealer. You really think she would make such a novice mistake? No, I don't. That's why I didn't pick her. I might have trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Alright, we're just supposed to assume there's a third person. The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Right, of course. Well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orly either. What are you suggesting? It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orly at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card were swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? My apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun this all is.
Fun? How confusing. I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor.
No, I don't either. It wasn't the one who swapped the card. Wasn't the defendant. It wasn't Mr. Orly. I mean, there was a comment about, like, someone looking out the little window. But, like, I didn't know if that was supposed to be, like a metaphor. But I guess that's supposed to, maybe that's the implication. That there was a fourth person who was the lookout. Because I feel like we have no reason to assume there's someone else. Like, the idea that they wouldn't have not mentioned the other person just seems weird to me. Well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that indeed after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hands. And that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping us the wrong card color. Because the one who did the swap didn't know the two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, the person replaced the fifth ace with a king. Whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. They picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True. Not until now. You have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. I didn't mention them until now because,
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You two make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. The trials proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only... I still don't get it, because it's like, he still would have won. I don't know. I don't get it. There were... At the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that as... So it's, I guess it would be that they swapped out the ace, because, like, he cheated to get the ace, and then they swapped it to make it seem like he didn't cheat, but... I guess that's the line of reasoning there? Because I can't think of why you would swap a winning hand for another winning hand. But I guess if you're trying to cover up the fact that he cheated. But, like, wouldn't the cheating have been obvious if his original hand was 3 aces and 2 sevens? Or 2 kings? It just seems kind of weird. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. Oh, is that the problem? Yeah. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. And bring some reces for the recess. Haha. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well. Trial will resume in 20 minutes. April 20th. 11:52. Been 2 hours? That's about accurate. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. Suddenly claimed there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Nah, I made that shit up, man. I fucking swapped that shit. Well, now I think you would know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. So you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christoph. Justice? Yes, sir? The judge has summoned me to his chamber, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. The locket you wear. Is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Yeah, you can take a look at it. Let's picture my daughter in there. I don't buy it. I don't fucking buy it. Is she like a level 3 wizard? I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps we'll meet her one of these days. One more question. So, like, biologically speaking, is this like adopted, or the one who cheated that night? Was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did? No, we don't. Hasn't been revealed to us yet. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I don't know. We don't know what year it is. We don't know how many years it's been. I never, honest, but it's odd he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. You see, poker's all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? Figure out what your opponent's thinking, and you win. Yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. As far as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss Orly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who noticed that? Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I'll pass the secret on to you. The additional secret is unlimited saves. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will. Soon. Almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know I haven't told the truth to anyone yet.
What? I knew it!
I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And you'll probably say that's so fucking stupid. But it'll be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there. Defending me. I need your power. Power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. It's time. I know someone with that sort of distinctive hairstyle must have an unlockable transformation locked deep inside them. And we're gonna need that. We're gonna need you to scream and power up in the courtroom and become a true justice god. Can you do that for me, Apollo? No? Shit. Maybe I'll represent myself after all. The real trial begins now. The real Phoenix Wright begins here. To be continued. This is a long first trial. Yeah, sure. I'll save the video game. Okay. Well, I think that's a pretty good place to call it. We will see what the hell Stoner Wright is up to in the next video. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.